we're going to do a simple version of how to animate this and then take it into Adobe Premiere. And I'll show you all of that. All right, I have created my animation screen, and remember the size is 26 by, this one is 26 by 15. Right, and on layer 1, I have a black screen. On layer 2, I have the title. On layer 3, I have the background. On layer 4, I have the simple skeleton. He's going to dance. We can go back and forth between those two or these two. That's layer 3 and 4. Or this one. That's all that I'm going to have him do so that you can see this and quit. And then on the final layer, turn off the background again, and then I have a byline. All right, so here in my timeline, I am set to go. I'm not going to add anything else because if I add anything to the timeline, it isn't going to work right. So the first screen is going to be blank. Then I add a new screen. At this time, I turn on my name. Then I add a, I can decide to do tweening in between the two later. Then I add a new screen, turn off the title, turn on the background. I also, I think I'll just go from that to the next one. So I'll add a new one, and at that time I'll turn on skeleton 1. And then I'll have a new one, and I'll turn off skeleton 1 and turn on skeleton 2. All right, very simple. We can go back and forth between the two. And a new one, turn off skeleton 2, turn back on skeleton 1. All right, so he's just going to go boom, 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 boom. See how he can dance pretty quickly just there. So a new one. Turn off skeleton 1, turn on skeleton 2. Turn on a new one, turn off skeleton 2, let's have him go to skeleton 3. A new one, turn off skeleton 3, go back to skeleton 2. A new one, turn off skeleton 2, go back to skeleton 3. A new one, turn off skeleton 3, turn on skeleton 4. So far he's going boop, 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 boop. I think he needs a little bit more between the 3 and the 4. And I can just continue this on. So it's up to me on how I want him to dance. Just by turning him off and on, he is going to move his arms and things back and forth. I think a little bit more maybe. And I just have to remember not to have more than 2 skeletons up there at the same time. All right, let's say it's time to do some transitions. So I want to transition between 1 and 2. There's where I'm going to use the tweening. So this is your tweening button. So I'm going to click tween, and I'm going to add 5 layers between that and the next frame. So there comes my first transition. And then I do the same thing. I'll hit tween between 7 and 8, 5 layers. All right, so it's going to do that. And there I am. Should have a tween between those two because that's pretty abrupt. So I'll add tweening there. And the skeleton will just start to appear within it. All right, so that is pretty much everything unless I decide to make him dance some more. At this time, I am not quite sure, but I do know that 5 seconds is too long. So I'm going to click on number 1, and then I'll click on the last one. And where it says 5 seconds, let's try 0.1 second. And then I can try my video. That's pretty fast. He moved really, really, really fast. So again, I'll click on number 1 and come all the way down to the end. And maybe 0.05, a fifth of a second. And now try it. So I can continue playing with how many more frames I want and the timing until I get everything on there that I want. And between the last frame and what I'm going to end with, again, I will turn off the skeleton and do a fade out and a fade out of that, and then fade into by my name, and that will be my animation, and I'll be ready to save. So at that point, we're going to go File to Export and render the video. And that will render the video and have it ready then to take it into Adobe Premiere. Have fun. I think this will be great.